Hello there, my name is Refiloe Seseane. I am from South Africa. I'm currently in America because of President Obama's Young African Leaders Initiative, and that's in recognition of the work that we do in an organization that I set up 3 years ago called 1828, which empowers young women, and I'm the founder of 1828. And what you should do is check out yourholiday.com.
Kane is in the building.
What we are doing is being mentored by leaders in civil society, leaders in business, leaders in environmentalism, all the various sectors that are represented by the young people who are participating in this forum. The thinking is that in as much as we're doing really amazing work on the African continent, and the fact that the US government has brought us here in recognition of the work that we do is not sufficient to get us to the next level. So by pairing us up with mentors here in the US, we have the opportunity to leverage off of their skills, their resources, their networks, as well as their knowledge base, to then apply or upscale or tweak what it is we're currently doing at home. There's 60 of us this year, 62. And we were attached to one specific mentor who's related to the service industry that we're in. And I'm running a non-profit organization in South Africa that focuses on young women. So I was paired up with a professor from the University of Pennsylvania. Her name is Dr. Felicity Paxton. She's also a director at the Pennsylvania Women's Center, Penn Women's Center within the university. And the whole conversation with her over the last 2 weeks was about issues around women empowerment and how we can better capacitate ourselves. Other people were in different cities. We were across the US. It was Miami, Cincinnati, Seattle, Philadelphia, which I mentioned, Pittsburgh, Huntsville, Alabama. So we were really spread out according to our different sectors. And each host city really focused on what it is we were doing and how we could upskill ourselves. Why we are here now in Chicago is to basically assess how the last 3 weeks have gone, because we've been in America from the 10th of June. We first arrived in Washington before we moved across to our different cities. So the conference that we're having here is really for us to say what we've learned and how we intend to implement, with the understanding that there will be support from the US government and of course from our mentors and our partner cities. And if it's something that you're interested in, then I would really urge you to apply and go to the state.gov website. There's also a Twitter address, which is #YoungAfrica. It's also on Facebook, Young African Leaders. Facebook.com/Young African Leaders. And you'll see all the tweets, all the Facebook announcements, all our videos, all our photos of everything that we've experienced and how it's been for us. The whole point of a program like this is to make improvements for the next generation of young African leaders. It's not so much about what we are going to extract from, in as much as it will be beneficial to us, as well as our organizations and companies at home. I would personally want to make sure that the next participant from South Africa has a better experience than me. Positive aspects of this program, as well as some things that I hope some delegates don't have to experience, because there are a lot of nuances coming in from Africa, from a different country, and really acclimatizing yourself to the cultural differences. Frankly, it's not easy for me to gloss things over. Americans have a very condescending attitude towards African people, and they're surprised that we have cell phones, and they're surprised that we're on Facebook, and they're surprised that we're on Twitter. We would not have been chosen by their government to be here as ambassadors of our own countries and as ambassadors of the African continent if we didn't have what it takes. If we were not technologically savvy, if we were not business savvy, we wouldn't be here. We are here because we are the creme de la creme of our countries. But for most American people, it's still looked upon as charity. There's still very much a perception that we are of lower status, that we don't have much to contribute to the conversation, that we have come here to learn And that may be true. We've also come here to teach and to share. And the whole point of an engagement is to keep an open mind. I cannot say that that has been true of all the Americans I've encountered in my time. As much as there have been very many open-minded who know about America, about Africa rather, it hasn't been the case. But having said that, and at the risk of contradicting myself, it has been a worthwhile experience. And there's a lot that I've personally gained and learned and all the insights. So it's been positive. I mean, you'll talk to some of the other participants now. I'll introduce you to a lady from Senegal. And everyone will give you a different perspective. But on balance, it has been positive. We're already doing a lot of good work as 1828. And the reason I came here was to scale it up. And that's why I was picking Casey's brain, trying to get ideas. I'm not sure if you're familiar with South Africa, but we're in Gauteng province, which is the province of the capital, Pretoria, and the biggest city is Johannesburg. And the work that we're doing is in 11 communities in and around Johannesburg. There's a need now that we need to reach out to more girls and young women in other provinces. And what I needed to know is, how will I do this? How do I replicate the model? Am I going to set up office in other provinces, or am I going to partner with provinces that are already on the ground? But that brings up another set of challenges in terms of diluting the equity of our brand. If we're piggybacking on someone else, it also brings up issues of resources, where I need a team of people there every day. But the whole thing is to get the work out to more people, because that's what needs to be done. There are a lot of high potential young women in South Africa who, because of a lack of mentoring and because of a lack of financial assistance, are not able to further their dreams. And we make it our point as 1828 to make sure that they know that higher education is the key. We don't want girls dropping out of school at grade 12 because they didn't have the money for tuition and textbooks and accommodation. We don't want them to see negative examples because of a lack of role models or tutors or mentors. And the whole point is that because there are so many of them out there, we need to be where they are. And unfortunately right now it's not sufficient that we're only based around Johannesburg. So the appeal is to get the resources, the ideas, the means, the insights to be in other provinces, because I know that the need is there.